these are our examples, and actually the goal, or one of the way as a slide designer, is to make the slides more visual, so help audience to understand the content, to see what's the most important part over there, how they should read it. And for that one, firstly we need to create a space, because as you see there's a lot of information, there's not much space left to add any type of graphics. So let's look at this slide. We have this table and what we could do to gain a space. Actually, the first question you can ask yourself, like, do I need all this information? Maybe I don't need to put all this information at one slide. Maybe I can just split it to several slides. So for example, I can just split it to 4 slides column by column and take every step separately. And still I can present all the same information, but I'll focus on just one step at a time. And if this is the case, and I can do it, if it fits my content, then I can gain, let me show you again what actually can change. So I can increase the font like that. I can change, I can start playing, guys, get the space to play with the shapes a bit. So you can see the font is bigger. I only focus on the first initial analysis. So this is the simplest form. If I have a few minutes more, I can enhance it a bit visually more. So add some colors, some light design elements, maybe add some illustration like that here, because I have a space finally to do something visually over here. However, maybe it's not always possible. Maybe I'm not allowed to split it to more slides because I'm making this, I'm designing the presentation for someone else to present, and he requires this all to be on one slide. Maybe you want to show all this information all together, so you see the synergy of all the points. In that case, what we can do, we can, for example, try to remove elements which are non-important, which are not holding the information. So the grid, this black heavy grid, is such example. So I can just make it disappear or make it just gray, and this will help me just focus on the content. There's one step which we can do. Next step is to try gain space, but by working with the text. So we can look at the text more like in detail and see maybe there are some words which we can shorten or replace. So for example, here we have this and here, and this one can be replaced with an ampersand sign. So, and we'll get a little more space. Also, words like increase, reduce could be replaced by one symbol, like increase arrow up, reduce arrow down, or small minus. Some things could be simplified. For example, like we have here multi-user team corporation. If it's enough, if it's just multi-user corporation. Usually, when you have more users, it's kind of team or group. So maybe you can find these kind of words which you can remove at all. Next thing which you can do is to replace the font. If you're allowed to, if you have freedom to change the font. In our example here, we have the font is Arial, so it's pretty standard font, but it's a bit wider. If you would replace it with the font Calibri, you can see right away that the text is smaller, because this is a bit smaller font. It's still readable. It's even more modern, I would say, and this font was specially designed to be well readable on display screens. So that's most of the case today, which we are presenting either on a computer screen or LCD projector. So try to change it, for example, to Calibri font, and immediately you can see we have more space over here. If you cannot change the font, or if it's not enough, you can try to decrease the size of the font. So let me just switch to editing mode here. If, for example, this is too big, too much points, I can just decrease the font. So normal way, I would just go here and increase font by clicking this icon. But there is a very handy shortcut which I would like to share with you. Is this is a shortcut Control and this kind of bracket. So that's what I did here. Just click it over here so I can make it smaller by one step or bigger. So that's another thing you can do. Okay, this font or this slide is already having too much text. So even with the decreasing font, probably it will not be very readable if you are in a bigger room and people from the back probably will not see it anyway. So I assume this slide is something which is going to be presented on a screen and people are closer to it so they can read everything. So in that case, probably you can allow yourself to go one step smaller, to use one step smaller the font. So just to summarize these few ideas how to create a space, the best one would be to split the slides to more to get space, or to shorten the text by eliminating some words or using some acronyms which everybody will understand. We can replace font. We can also decrease the size of the font.